but because there is a criterion. And the criterion is almost always, not always, but almost always the following. Is there a division of opinion in the lower courts about the correct answer to the legal question that's presented? You see, if there's no division of opinion, why us? They're perfectly good judges. The country is very unlikely to need us, or anyone else need us, if they're all uniform on the question of law, the proper interpretation. See, but if they're divided, federal law should be uniform across the country, then there's a need for us to take the case. Now, it's actually that simple. Now, sometimes they're borderline, hard to tell, and so forth. But that's basically what I'm looking for. Not totally. If somebody's held the law of Congress unconstitutional, in the lower court we'll probably hear it. In fact, it's Guantanamo maybe or something, we might hear it anyway. But that's basically the reason. So we could have a case, which you won't read about, but the comma in the Internal Revenue Code means the next word, which was a for, should be interpreted as a which or a that. We had a case like that. I liked it, no one else did. But the point is, of course, we took it because there was a division of opinion. Or it could be Guantanamo or the Fourth Amendment and First Amendment speech case or abortion or some other thing. But the key in which they're similar, is there a division of opinion on the question of law in the lower courts? So now you see how I can go through that. And that's what I've been leading up to. So you see the universe from which we're choosing, the kinds of questions that we're deciding, and why we're deciding them. President Taft, later Chief Justice Taft, explained that we are not there to correct errors. Everybody has had a trial, everybody has had an appeal, often 2 or 3 appeals. You could go on forever. There's so many, why would we be right necessarily? You can't do it. And so that's why I want my law clerks to go through those. People say, why don't I do it? I'd say I'd rather have a human being called a law clerk go through this and write a memo, go through that scrawled petition thoroughly. I'd rather have my law clerk do it and write the memo than to me pretend to do it. Because I would be pretending to do it if I were trying to do 150 a week. Couldn't be done. Is that? So now, what happens once I go through the little pile? I give them back to my law clerks every Wednesday. We go through them. Do I want one discussed at the conference? Anyone can put anyone on he wants. And in the conference, we'll discuss 10 or 12. The conference is the 9 of us sitting around a table. This is the certiorari part. Should we hear the case? We go through, we'll discuss it very quickly, very briefly. But if there are 4 votes to grant, it's granted. Not 4 votes, like all the rest we didn't hear, denied. Quite mechanical, quite simple. And if, in fact, I hear something that I didn't think of, and I think, oh, gee, I didn't think about that one. Maybe I can hold it over. Anyone can hold it over for a week or 2 weeks or whatever they want and write a memo, and we'll get the memo and think about it again. But there we are. Now you know how we get the cases. It's not, oh, I sit there and think, wouldn't it be fun to decide this case? Which is the impression that sometimes you get from reading about the court. That's just not it. Now, decided to hear. At that point, people write briefs. You write them too. And they're very helpful. They're very helpful. You get a brief. They're not brief at all, actually. But they're very helpful from the petitioner, who says,